My Sari Mare is so ver van my hart, maar ek hoop om haar weer te sien. Sy het in die wijk van die mooie rivier gewoon, nog voor die oorlog het begin. O, bring my terug naar die ou Transvaal, daar waar my Sari woon. Daar onder in die mielies by die groen doringboom, daar woon my Sari Marais. My Sari Marais is so far from my heart, I'm hoping to see her again. She lived very close to where the Moy River flows, long before the war began. Oh, bring me back to the old Transvaal, that's where my Sari stays. Down among the mealies by a green thorn tree, my beautiful Sari Marais.
Just by way of introduction, I'm talking to Sarah Forsyth, who is the manager come owner of Kedar Hotel near Rustenburg, and I've been here for nearly 24 hours, not quite, but nearly 24 hours, and the hotel is one of the most amazing collections of Boer War memorabilia, and I'm going to let Sarah tell us the history of the hotel, her father's involvement, and exactly how this all came to be. Over to you.
All right, thank you. So currently we are at a farm called Buchenhoutfontein in the Northwest Province, just outside of Rustenburg. And on this farm, which is a historical farm, which we'll get to now, is Kedar Heritage Lodge. And that's our hotel. That's been running for 30 years now. So this original farm of the area is called Buchenhoutfontein, as mentioned, and that was about 2,000 hectares originally, that allocated farmland. And it was owned by a man called Bronkhorst, and then transferred to S.J. Erasmus, and then Kruger took it over. We think it was around 1860, early. So this farm, because the English would leave their farm to the oldest son, your farm or your land would always stay as one piece. You were able to carry it throughout the generations. But what the Afrikaans did was they split their land between their children. So, for instance, Kruger had 9 sons and 7 daughters. So he had 16
One heck
children.
of a family.
Yeah, no TV. So he had a big family.
Yeah.
And so the land got split up a lot. So my father was from Zimbabwe. I don't know why he would want to buy a piece of property out in Rustenburg, but he did. And he bought a small portion of Buchenhoutfontein. And then over the years, which was actually Kruger's daughter's house, Christina Creer, it was her section. And then over the years, he started to piece back as much of Buchenhoutfontein as he could.
Oh, right.
And then had the opportunity to take over the Paul Kruger Country House Museum. So this is where Kruger lived. It was his family home. So Kruger Creer, he had many houses across the Transvaal. But this was where he decided to raise his family, and that really shows a lot of weight. If you read his memoirs, okay, which you would expect to have detail about where his family grew up, he mentions it twice. And that's in one sentence and another sentence. One referring to one of his laborers, my laborer at Buchenhoutfontein, and then one referring to going back to Buchenhoutfontein. That's it. No details about this place, which is crazy in his memoirs. Yeah. And so my father decided, well, since this was around Paul Kruger, he would use the same time period to theme the hotel. So he started to collect Anglo-Boer War memorabilia and things related to Kruger, and he just got a huge passion for it. And as you can see with the hotel,
I've got lots of video footage of that. It's amazing. Over what period of time did he build that collection?
About 30 years.
30 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
Little short of 30 years.
Yeah. And where did he get the guns and stuff?
He got things from all over the world.
Wow.
From everywhere and anywhere. I remember when we traveled, and we were blessed to travel quite frequently, we would be in antique shops looking for Anglo-Boer War stuff, whether it was in China, whether it was in India, whether it was... And so, you know, he, from all over the world, and had people looking out for things.
Yeah.
And he found it very important to tell the story.
Yeah.
Like you'll see most things at the hotel, they all have a story. You can all read something about it, because that obviously makes a lot closer relationship. So all the public areas at the hotel at Kedar, as you've seen, is a living museum. So as you walk past, you see it's the biggest private collection of Anglo-Boer War memorabilia and the largest collection of Anglo-Boer War militaria in the world.
I can vouch for that. I can vouch for that. It's stunning, and it's actually in this video. You can see some of the stuff that they've got at the hotel. Now, what I find fascinating too is the naming of the rooms. Like you've got the Armory restaurant, and you've got the POW lounge, and you've got the Roberts rooms, or boardroom, and you've got all these different parts which are in themselves part of history. You've got Winston Churchill's head overlooking the play area, and you've got, this is the one that really caught my attention. You've got Cecil Rhodes sitting on a bench looking out. And it's rather like the Cecil Rhodes in Cape Town, where he's looking down at, well, away from Cape Town, but over part of Table Mountain. Absolutely amazing. So these statues, tell me the story behind these metal statues that have been created.
Well, that's an interesting question.
Yeah.
So how it actually started is my father was driving, and he always had an eye for things. And he stopped on the side of this road. There was a man making little metal statues, and he said to him, if I ask for a bigger one, can you do it? And this guy said, if you pay me more, I can do it. And his name is Adam Madibe. And my father picked him up and sent him to school, and he is now the #1 copper sculptor on the African continent. Wow.
I mean, some of the sculptures, I've got them all on video and photographs, are just stunning, absolutely stunning.
Amazing.
And at reception,
yes,
overlooking the car park, there's a old man who I refer to in the video as, to me, looks like a philosopher, and I wasn't sure who he was, and he appears to be reading some kind of document. Tell me about that man.
So that's my father.
Yeah.
So my father, Robert Forsyth, this is his collection.
Yeah.
He had a passion for the museum and a passion for restoring the land and the wetland. And so many years ago, my mother actually commissioned that statue of him for his, I think it was his 60th birthday, or his 50th birthday. I think it was his 60th birthday. And that used to stand at our hotel, Misty Hills, in Krugersdorp. And after I lost my father, I moved him here. Wow. Because he always had, this was his
special
this
connection.
Was his heart. This was, you know, this property, what we were doing here was his heart. And so I put him in his rightful place, and he is he's holding a piece of paper because he was always giving a speech, or always trying to pass along knowledge, or and wisdom. And so he's in the perfect place.
Amazing. And tell me about your mother.
My mother.
Yeah.
So I use the adjective iconic.
Yeah.
She is an iconic woman.
Yeah.
She is a very, very strong woman. My mother is scary intelligent, so she was able to be a lot of the force behind what he did. My father was the visionary. My mom was the one who sort of made
Made it
sure
happen.
that it was paid for and sorted, you know. So my mother is a chartered accountant, and she, she and my father sort of grew this business.
So it was a great team.
It was an amazing team, a very strong team, and you know, I've been so blessed to have those people as examples, because I had my father who taught me my heart and my philosophy in life, and that I wouldn't touch the vaccine, and I have my mother who's shown me that really a woman has no excuse. They can accomplish anything now. You know, she never buckled from a fight. She was always the winner. She was, you know, and that's why I'm able to.
She sounds like Donald Trump.
she is a force to be reckoned with, and a wonderful woman.
And the current situation is with the mining that's
Yes.
happening around you, and how she is closing the mines down.
So, as mentioned, so this area, and I would love to tell you about the Royal Buffer King and Kgosi Mokgatle. But this area is the largest deposit of platinum.
Wow.
Yeah, so they have mined platinum here for decades and decades and decades.
Right.
And platinum supplies are now sort of depleting, and people are coming for the chrome in the area. Now, Buchenhout-Fontein Fountain, Afrikaans, spring, this is a very, what happens with the spring, it's rich minerally. And so they want to come to us, I'm sure, to find what minerals are here, and they also want to use the water to wash their chrome. And so we've faced, oh goodness, it must be more than 14 applications in the past 3 years, and because of the very clever mother I have, she has been able to fight off, we're fighting all of them, and she's been able to shut things down, which is incredible.
Yeah.
And we have worked very hard to have our property declared as a private nature reserve, which will at least protect it for the next 99 years. But the encroachments of the mines, and they can suck out water on other sections, the encroachment will damage our buildings. The blasting will damage the historical buildings as well, and so it's a big concern to us.
And the water table will become
and
polluted.
the water table, and you know, how can you justify what are you doing to the land?
Yeah.
We're the last wetland left in the entire area.
I mean, you take the fact that this is a bona fide nature reserve, that they could be getting closer and closer with mining on its borders. It's just crazy.
Well, we just got declared in order to protect ourselves from them, because they've been coming.
Because they now can't actually put a claim on your land.
Yes.
Right.
But it is a buffer zone that's a problem, because when we were talking about the blasting yesterday, they're 5 kilometers away from us.
Wow.
So
anyway, let's get back
Should
on
I talk to you about Kgosi Mokgatle quickly?
Yes, tell me about
Okay.
Kgosi Mokgatle.
So this is a very important part of the story of Buchenhout-Fontein.
Right.
Kgosi Mokgatle was king of the Bafokeng nation of this area. And this man was ahead of the game.
He wore a suit. He didn't wear all the
a top
feathers
hat, a suit,
Yeah.
at a time where kings would still wear their traditional dress. And it was not that he was leaving his culture behind, it was that he was working on protecting his culture for the future, or his people for the future. He had a lot of foresight.
Right.
And so when him and Kruger first met, Kruger had Hendrik Potgieter as one of his
top man.
commanders, and they met Kgosi Mokgatle, and they made an agreement that Kgosi would keep them up to date with the native conflict in the area. And he did, and those two banded together to fight Mzilikazi off, because Mzilikazi came through this area and caused some nonsense.
He'd been chased out by the Zulus.
Yeah, and then he must have also been chased out by somebody else in between this. He was gone.
He was on the run.
He was on the run, and what a man Mzilikazi was. And so they band together, so they had a good relationship. And what happened when the Boers were annexing land across the Transvaal, a lot of this area was annexed. Or they just, you know, put down their fence posts and decided where their farms were.
I believe at Mulder's Drift,
Yes.
what they used to do is they used to get a horse and they would ride that horse for 60 minutes, or maybe it was 30 minutes one way, put down the stake, they'd come back to the same point, 30 minutes that way, put down, and then do that in the four corners, and that would then be their lot.
Fascinating.
And it came out at about 360 Morgan, and, you know. But if you were a very good horse rider, you could get a bigger lot because you sprinted faster, you went further. But that's how they actually got the allocation.
Sure.
Yeah. So probably similar here.
Yeah. And so I think they designated a few places for any natives to live, if that makes sense. And after Hosi helped Kruger and Potgieter designated a farm called Koekfontein, which is in the area, and said, Hosi, you have Koekfontein now.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's your reward. And obviously, they had everything before. But anyway, you have to see the kindness of the time.
But when you think about it, he then had security, because he wouldn't have marauding tribes coming through.
Yeah.
Because the Boers would be there to protect their land.
But there's a lot of sympathy and kindness when it comes to this, and it is because of the times. That wouldn't have happened. They just say live there, you know, and they gave them land that was arable, and Hendrik gave it to him under the condition that no whites would be able to use or settle on your farm, Koekfontein. Now, I think that Potgieter had insight and foresight about this, because what happened? Two white guys, farmers, came and asked Hosi, can we use part of your land to farm on Koekfontein? And he said, yes, you can. And while he was away on his travels, those two guys sold his farm. So now
sold his farm?
Yeah.
Wow.
So he got back and Koekfontein was sold. And so when I think of what Hendrik Potgieter said, he knew what he was saying.
Yeah.
He actually was not being mean. He was saying, protect your land, which is very interesting. And then Kruger he said, okay, Hosi, you can live on you and your group can live on the farm Beersfontein, which is my farm, and you can exchange labor. You can come and have your workers work in my fields. And they had a very interesting relationship for the time, because people write about how they were surprised by the mutual respect that they had for each other, and the respect that Kruger had for Hosi. And there's even a story that Hosi would dine with Kruger in his house. Hosi married one of Kruger's chefs because she made him such a good meal. He told Kruger, I'm taking her home with me. Her name was Paulina. And Kruger, it is good. And Kruger and Hosi Mogatle sent his men to dig the dam that we'll see later for Paul Kruger.
The buck are actually running along a dam wall, and when I opened the door they ran away, but here's the dam. So it was actually built by the Africans way back in Kruger's time. Huge dam.
Which is also huge. Kruger did flog another king because he didn't build the dam. So of course he was, aware not to say no. And then eventually there was a missionary group that came and helped Hosi get some land, and then when the big hole, when the Kimberley hole was discovered, they were being paid very good wages to go and dig. So Hosi sent his young men to the hole, and they had to pay him sort of whatever it was when they came back. And with that money, he bought his own land back. He started to buy up his own.
Wow.
He didn't ask for reparations. He asked for nothing. He made sure that he earned money to buy his own land back.
This is the land that the two white farmers had sold.
It's all the land that he could.
Wow.
He would buy any farm he could. Just keep buying. And then what happened? They found platinum all over Bafokeng land.
So-
They are the richest tribe in Africa today.
So obviously the royalties from that platinum go back to the tribe.
Yes, well, I mean, they run the mines.
Yeah.
They're direct partners with Anglo.
Wow.
I mean, they have
So
a state-of-the-art school where they poached teachers all over Joburg to work in that school. They are hugely wealthy.
Yeah.
They own big corporate group. They're next level.
Wow.
Haven't seen an operation like that.
So they don't live in these little RVD homes, they live in mansions all over Rustenburg.
No, because there's population is much bigger now. So they have people of different, you know, like you
Rich,
do
poor,
in
medium.
exactly.
Yeah.
But the community does not live in
Poverty.
poverty. It's quite nice. And
Do they extend as far as Mafeking? Or is that
No.
It's a tribe which has got a similar name. Is it the Barong or something like that?
The Borlane.
Yeah.
There's the Bakhatla, which are not far from this area. I don't think at that time they had as big a territories as they used to, because now the Boers were here. So like even in this region it's quite close. Here's Khosi Mokhatle, then up the road is the Batlokwa, and Pilansburg is only 25 minutes away. Khosi Pilane was there.
Yeah.
So I think they were quite surrounded.
Yeah.
But just an amazing story about the Bafokeng.
So, coming to more modern times, your father from Rhodesia decides to settle in Rustenburg and buy this land. And what a historic bit of land he bought.
He did.
Yeah. And now the weight of that's on your shoulders, because it's basically you're the next generation of the family.
Yes. I always say I'm the custodian.
Yeah.
Or I'm the caretaker.
Yeah.
It's but what a privilege to have this weight on my shoulders.
Yeah. And you've got a brother?
I have a younger brother.
Yeah.
I do.
And does he look after one of the properties?
He assists my mother at Misty Hills, the
Right.
carnival restaurant closer to Johannesburg. That's
Now, I just want to talk about the carnival restaurant, because it's fairly unique. It's where you pay a set price and you go and eat as much meat, game and whatever as you can.
Yes.
Do you want to tell us about that, the
I'd love
concept
to.
of that?
I'd love to. So my father, there's a carnival restaurant in Kenya.
Mm-hmm.
And my father went to Kenya for something 30 plus years ago, and he went to carnival, and then he went every lunchtime and every dinner the whole time he was there. And at the end of the trip he said, I wanted to see the owner. And then they started then he was he bought a franchise of Carnival and brought it to South Africa. Unfortunately in Kenya they're not really able to sell game meat, but in South Africa we're very lucky, and so you go and you're able to eat an array of different game meats. As you said, it's all you can eat, so they come almost in a Brazilian style with a spear, meat on the spear, and they'll cut off zebra, impala, kudu, eland, and so you really get a chance to taste all of those animals, and it's hugely important when it comes to conservation. Firstly,
Tell us why.
I will. Firstly, they're the leanest meat you can eat because they're running around all day. They're the healthiest because they're not stuffed with injections or fed, pellets or chicken droppings
Or
to
Bill
fatten them
Gates'
up.
stuff, yeah.
Or anything Bill Gates makes cells, or anything BlackRock or Vanguard makes cells.
Yeah.
So, where was I?
Okay, so you're talking about the healthiest and leanest meat.
Yes. Then, as we were discussing last night, that something needs value, right? You're not going to farm cows if you can't milk them and sell the milk. You're not going to, or sell the meat. You're not going to farm sheep unless you can sell the wool.
Yeah, in other words, you
And
want to get money back for what you're doing.
you have to, because
Yeah.
if you don't have money going in, you can't look after the animals.
Yeah.
And that's why South Africa has the best conservation model in the world, because we're able to use our animals to get a monetary return and then reinvest that.
Yeah.
And so that's hugely important. And so he wanted game to be able to reach the market. It was a big passion of his. People find it kind to eat a piece of meat that they find in the shop that they don't know where it comes from off the cow, and the cow has been standing knee deep in shit its entire life in a small paddock.
Awful.
And here we are.
Yeah.
So he started the carnivore about 31 years ago, and then my father, he studied.
Now, just sorry, with the carnivore.
Yes.
You have bookings. Is it every night of the week?
I'm not sure about Mondays and Tuesdays, but it's every night of the week, and on Friday, Saturday, Sunday there's lunch as well.
And is that in Muldersdrift area or in Krugersdorp?
Yes, that's in Muldersdrift area, so
Okay.
it's on your way to Krugersdorp. It's
Right.
5 minutes from Krugersdorp.
Okay.
Yeah.
And booking, people have to book to get a seat?
Yes, booking is
I mean, you can't just
advised.
arrive and hope you'll get a seat.
Yes, exactly. You can't just arrive and hope that you're going to get a table.
Right.
It is a 500-seater restaurant.
Wow.
And, you know, it's been running for 31 years. The average lifespan of a restaurant is 5 years.
Wow.
So, and the menu has never changed. So it really is something special and unique. We call it Beast of the Feast. So I always recommend making a booking.
Yeah.
You can go to the website, there's email there, there's a phone number there, and then you just make a booking.
You can give me the website addresses and I'll put it below.
Absolutely,
So,
yeah.
Now tell me about Misty Mountain.
Misty Hills.
Misty Hills, right.
So it's on the same property as the carnivore, and that's 222 bedrooms, 24 conference venues.
222 bedrooms.
It's huge.
Wow.
Yeah. And so what happened is my father was a reverend. He studied ministry in Texas, but he was always had a business brain.
Yeah.
And then came to South Africa, and he started a company called Gotel, which was like cassette tapes.
Yeah.
And he would bring in motivational speakers or pastors, and he would make records and he would sell them. And he said there were no good conference venues anyway.
Did he do that 10 series audio tapes, which I bought when I was in South Africa, called The Power of Positive Thinking? And there was an American guy and he was going through all these different tributes. There was about 10 of them.
It's
so it probably was
possible.
your father.
It's definitely
Wow.
possible.
This was back in the 1970s.
I think that might have been too. I don't know.
Well, it might have been 1980s. It was around
Yeah. 1980s would have been the time he was. He was
I think it was 1980s.
selling that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So he said there were no good conference venues in the area.
Yeah.
He needed to build his own, and so he bought Misty Hills, and he said people laughed at him. They said, "What are you going to do with this dirt ball?" But my father was a visionary. He said, "I'm going to make this there. It's going to look like this. I'm going to put this there. It's going to look like that." And
your mother was the one who had to make it happen.
yes, a little bit further on. And it's now a registered botanical gardens.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he had a huge passion for trees.
Yeah.
Wanted to plant trees.
Yeah. Wow. And there's another property you've got, which is it a hotel or there's something else you were mentioning last night?
There is a property in Broederstroom.
Yeah.
And that property, it's not a hotel, but it's a historical site as well. It has the graves of the Pretorius family.
Okay.
Which are very old. I think they date back to the 1800s.
Wow.
So that's a special piece of property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically it's Misty Mountain and Kedar are the two main places that people can come and stay.
Yeah.
And Kedar is about 10 kilometers north of Rustenburg.
Yeah.
approximately on
Yeah.
on what's the road that
Yeah.
comes past here?
It's the R565.
R565.
Yeah. So you're on the N4 and then
yeah,
swing on the R565.
And it's the Sun City tunnel.
It's the main road to Sun City. You can't go to Sun City without going past us.
So you got to, on your way to Sun City, you go past. Okay,
so
right.
there's
Just
no
outside Rustenburg.
there's no excuse for anybody not to stop, at least to have a cup of coffee and see the collection.
Yeah, and the other thing is that when you do come past, you see the Kedar signboard,
Yes.
and when you actually come into the main gate, you can see this big metal elephant, which is done by Adamite.
Yes.
That's it. That elephant is amazing.
As a life-size elephant.
It's huge.
He makes a mold
Yeah,
of clay, and then he beats all that metal by hand.
it's amazing.
He is an incredible artist.
Wow.
And that is a big, big job that,
And okay, we know all about the properties now. We know about your family background and so on. What's in the future for Sarah? What's her vision? What does she want to do?
I have an answer for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
In terms of the history, my vision is I would like to start moving further back in time. And I would like to cover a larger range of our history, larger period of our history, so that I would like all people who visit South Africa to know that they have to come to Kedar to learn about the history of South Africa. I don't want anything past Anglo-Boer War. So I would love to cover the Anglo-Zulu War, or you can teach me about the history of the Greek wars, the Ford track.
I've got a book for you. I'll say I'll get it to you.
Yeah. I want to go backwards, because it's in going backwards that you find healing.
Well, I tell you the most fascinating history, untold history of South Africa, is the journey of the Griqua people from the first time that the Van Riebeeck arrived in the Cape, 1652. You had all these white young men, no women, and of course you had the coloureds, the Khoi, the Khoi people, and not so much the San. The Khoi more interacted with the first settlers, and of course the result was coloured people who, after a while, were basically pushed out of the community because they were seen as, like, not acceptable. And that was the actual foundation of the Griqua. And they were the ones who moved up north of the Orange River, at this place called Hardcastle, which is the first settlement north of the Orange River. And then they set up a little village at Griqua Town, which is still there, you can go to. And there's a water tank on the west side of Griqua Town. I've climbed up to the top of it, and the view from there is fantastic because it's so flat. And you can see everything. You can see, the whole layout of the settlement and so on. But from there, they were literally, they had a breakup between the Waterboers and the Cox, and the Cox decided they're going to go east. So they went into the Free State, and they gave out title deeds with the British approval. Then the Boer voortrekkers came through, and there was a lot of conflict there, and Sir Harry Smith basically reneged on his promise to the Griquas, who were then pushed out of the Free State by the Boers, who took over their lands and often just a bottle for a 3,000 morgen piece of land. That was the trade. And the Griquas, for a couple of years, were stuck in Philippolis, which is still there. It's a beautiful little town. And they had a church, a historic church, which the NG Kerk church now sits on top of. And that, again, is a magnificent church. But when the governor, after Sir Harry Smith came in, what was his name? It'll come to me. Anyway, he offered the Griquas a place on the other side of Lesotho, where Kokstad is today, which was at that time called no man's land. and it was called No Man's Land because the Zulus had literally killed everybody right through to the Eastern Cape.
Yeah.
And the Xhosa had gone right down. They were sort of pushed away from that area. And the Pondos went to the coast. And the hinterland area leading up to the Drakensberg there was no one there except bandits. And if you travelled through there, you were likely, to be hit by bandits.
And that also happened in the Transvaal.
Yeah.
Because in Zilligazi cleared everybody out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Griq were in a great trek, which took something like 3 years. And they lost about 90% of their wagons. They lost about 80% of their herds of cattle. Because the Sutu were coming in and they were bandits. And they settled at Mount Curry, which is just above Kokstad, and then they moved to Kokstad. And yes, it's a fascinating history. That you'll read about in the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. So anyway, is there anything else you'd like to add? I mean, I know what I'm going to be saying, and it's all good about this place. And I've got lots of video of particularly the bar where we had our dinner last night. Amazing. Okay.
Well, two more things.
Yeah.
I'll show you the houses. So the Peter Kruger house, his son's house. We're obviously looking to restore that house.
Yeah.
And we would like to turn it into a museum for the concentration camps and also the black participation.
And you're looking for a sponsor for that?
We're looking for a sponsor.
Right.
And any amount makes a difference.
Yeah.
That's also what people don't understand. $10 is better than no dollars. And that's very important to restore that building. And then the last thing I suppose I would say is to everybody who's watching, come and visit. Come
Absolutely.
and see it. Come be absorbed in it all because it really is so phenomenal.
Now, just as a thought, do you take day visitors? In other words, if someone comes, parks their car in your car park, they can have a wander around and look at all the artifacts?
Yes, we take day visitors.
So, and maybe have a meal here or something like that?
They will come in, have a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
No, we do.
All right. Okay. Fabulous.
Thank
you so much, Sarah. Okay, here we are in the Freemasons' room, and Sarah, why did you call this hotel Kedar? What's the history of that?
So my father named the hotel Kedar. He was a theologian. He studied theology, and in the Bible, you can read about King Solomon.
Yeah.
He says that he rode past the great tents of Kedar, and he spoke about how beautiful they were.
Yeah.
And so my father decided to call this place Kedar.
Oh, fascinating.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great to know.
Great story.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Good.
Okay, I'm actually standing behind a statue made out of metal of Cecil John Rhodes, and anybody who lives in South Africa knows who Cecil John Rhodes is. He was basically the man who opened up the African continent up into Rhodesia, which is named after him. And in this little cupboard area that I'm in, you can see, isn't that amazing? And the statues are actually created by an African who lives here in the hotel, or lives on the hotel property. He's got this unique talent, and he's able to create these incredible statues. And around here are just documents or posters about what Cecil Rhodes achieved in his life. And of course there's a good picture of Cecil right there. He died very young. I think he was 56 when he died. But the main entry to his spot is this little row of stepping stones, which I'm going to take now, going through this little pond. And the owner was telling us last night that quite often one of the staff will come and sit next to Cecil John Rhodes. I haven't done that yet, but I will. And they often put their arm around him. They have no idea of the significance of Cecil John Rhodes in their lives. Even the posts here have got metal around the edges, the bottoms. Look at that. I mean, the detail is just extraordinary. So I'm going to sit next to Cecil for a couple of minutes, and then I'm going to walk over those paving stones.